Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to a brand new podcast, and it's all about battles. What kind of battles? It's a battle of the decades. I'm your host, Mike, and along with me is my co-host for this, Josh. Josh, are you ready for this battle of the decades?
Oh, it's going to be a good time.
So, this is a concept that is just beyond the both of us because he loves the 90s. He loves the 90s. I love the 80s, and we figured we battled the decades of 80s versus 90s through film. And this is just the first episode, and we're starting with Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, that is.
That's right. It's heavy hitter for the first episode.
It is. We had like a back and forth on Messenger, and we're just like, why did I just turn this to a podcast? And he's like, let me choose the first film, Jurassic Park, 93. And I'm like,
yes,
oh gosh, I have to come back with another film. And you know what? I came back with a heavy hitter from 82, T the Extraterrestrial, and we're here to do this. So this podcast is going to be working like a kind of a court room where we have our opening statements about the film, what we love about it, why is it a great film compared to the other, and then we rebuttal each other, and then we come to a conclusion at the end of whether these both films are good on their own. One's better, one's the other. We'll find out. If not, we'll let you decide at home.
All right, let's get into this. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited.
Who would like to start?
Well, since you are the host, I think you should throw your hat down and your non-existent hat down, and you know.
You know what? Start with the oldest being from the 80s. Why not? E.T. the Extraterrestrial from 1982, starring Dee Wallace, Henry Thomas, Drew Barrymore, and lots of others. Spielberg created this film out of the ether because of his parents' divorce, because he had an imaginary friend, and E.T. was born from there. We have Henry Thomas playing Elliot. He discovers E.T. because E.T. himself was stranded on a planet because his race was looking for plants. They're botanists, and they just leave him behind. And so throughout the whole film, we have this adventure of E.T. discovering Elliot and Elliot discovering E.T. And they decide to have misadventures while trying to call home, or as he says, E.T. phone home. And so this film is just a wonderful, whimsical film. It is just, I watched it, I watch it occasionally. It makes me cry every time. And it's just peaceful how the John Williams score comes in and the theme comes in. It's great. The main bad guys you don't see at first because they're like filmed from the waist below. And it's creepy.
The man with the keys. That's the way I think of it. He's like, oh, it's the guy with the keys.
And that's his name in the movie. It's Keys because he doesn't have a name in the movie. His name is Keys, played by Peter Coyote. Really good guy. But yeah, like you watch that film and you're seeing these guys from the waist below. And it's like, these guys are the bad guys. They're just mysterious. They see, oh, E.T.'s there. We're going to fight E.T. And they get closer and they get closer and they get closer. And then at the end, my God, once you see them pulling out the tubes and pulling out everything to get, because E.T.'s dying at the end. Yeah, the alien's dying in the film. It is sad, tragic. It gives you a big roller coaster. You have some fun and some sad, and we have fun again. Now we go back to the sad times. I just love how E.T. connects to Elliot so much, and then Gertie too by Drew Barrymore. She's so damn cute, and she so does good it so well. Movie. She's so good. Give her credit because she thinks it's real at the time, because there's a scene when E.T.'s dying and they're in the bathroom and you see all of them together, and then Dee, Mary, she plays the mother, and she has to go in with Drew Barrymore, and she thinks it's real. The ET is like real because it's a practical freaking costume with a head, and it's just like we got to go in there, and she just real reactions, pure reactions, and I love that because these kid actors, Josh, are amazing. Amazing.
It's true. Yeah.
Drew Barrymore is fantastic. Henry Thomas, if you've seen the audition he's made for the film, it is phenomenal. And he's still acting to this day. Still acting. And it's phenomenal. I just, E.T. just has memories. You relate to the kids. As I grow older, I relate to Michael, the older brother, because I just seem like the older brother type now compared to being a kid. And it's just, I love it. E.T. is a phenomenal film of Spielberg. Nobody ever talks about it. It's rare. Sure, it's in pop culture. Sure, the emblem logo has E.T. and Elliot on the bike and the moon. Sure, you have the ride at Universal Studios, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree that it is a bit under talked about. I won't say underrated because I mean, people like when it is thought of and rated, it's highly touted.
It is, but out of Spielberg's films,
it is under talked about. I feel
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it's my turn now because I'm going to be talking Jurassic frickin' Park. Man, this movie was my childhood. All right. I absolutely love dinosaurs. And when I found out they were going to make a movie, I saw this thing 4 times in the theaters when it first came out. I've seen it more since then in the theaters because they did the re-release. And I guarantee you they'll do a re-release next year as well with it being the 30th or the 30th? Yeah, 30th anniversary coming up next year. But, okay, so Jurassic Park, it's got Sam Neill. It's got Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, as Sir Richard Attenborough. Great cast. I will say one thing that E.T. does have, I think, over this movie, the kid actors. I'm not as big of a fan of the kids in Jurassic Park as I am in E.T. I will say that. But they're not the main focus like they are in E.T. So it's really not that. It doesn't really bother me that much. This movie has everything that I want in a movie. It has wonder. It has excitement, fear. There are scenes where it's like legitimately almost a horror movie. And it's like, I never knew how much I wanted a movie like this until I saw it. And I was 9 years old when this movie came out. And like, I fell in love with it. It's one of the movies that made me fall in love with film as a whole. It's from the practical effects that are just insane, giant animatronic dinosaurs that he created. I mean, I feel like Spielberg needs to get back to doing creature films between E.T. and this and stuff. Like, he needs to do some more practical effect creature films because, like, I love it. And he's damn good at it. The score is one of my favorites of all time. I have it on vinyl. Like, it's a fantastic score. I absolutely love it. And I mean, you can't go wrong with having a shirtless Jeff Goldblum. Just saying, man. Just saying. It's fantastic. I watched it again last night in prep for this, and I was glued to the TV watching this thing. I absolutely love it. It's probably my favorite film of all time. So, yeah, Jurassic Park. Let's do this.
Oh, Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. I tell you, it's the kid actors. I was gonna bring that up. The kid actors in Jurassic Park was the main. I was trying to because I'm trying
specifically the girl. The boys, but that girl she just gets under my skin.
I had to because that's why I wanted to compare between the two films. There's a parallels because there's kids in both films. And the kids in E.T. are way better than the kids in Jurassic Park. And she's just sometimes, there's that one scene with the Jello as the dinosaurs coming, and she's just shaking the Jello.
Shaking the Jello.
A bug eye's just like, what the No, I just don't like that. It is like a.
Though she does get completely like snot covered at one point. So like, you give and take with that character.
True. That's disgusting. Disgusting. Ew. I had that thought in my head now. Fucking snot.
Is it
bubble.
more disgusting than shoving your arm in a giant pile of triceratops poop? I'm just saying.
Jurassic Park is very much like a horror film. It is, because it's that scary moments with the dinosaurs. They're just like, they're stuck on an island and they're trying to get the fuck out of there.
That scene in the maintenance shed where Ellie has to go down and flip all the breakers back on, and the Velociraptor's down there. She finds Samuel Jackson's arm. That is a terrifying scene. It really is. But it's so well done. The cinematography is amazing throughout this entire film. Every scene, it utilizes that cinematography in the perfect way to give you whether it wants you to be afraid, whether it wants you to be like in awe of what you're seeing. It doesn't matter. Like it's done in such a perfect way.
Yeah, I would admit the cinematography also in E.T. has really breathtaking moments. Like there's a few shots of the sun rising.
The problem I have with E.T. is that Spielberg went in and pulled a George Lucas and redid the shit. He essentially did like a special edition with some of the.
Yeah, that was part of my. That was part of my research. I was like, really, for the 20th anniversary or 30th anniversary with 2002, they reissued it with special effects, but he has since disregarded it and just like, it's a mistake I made, and all the versions you see now are not the 2002 version, which is I've seen clips of it. They really dirty.
I watched the side by side. I think you sent it to me, didn't you?
I did.
Side by side, yeah.
I did, because I was like fascinated because I didn't know about this. I will admit I've only seen the film E.T. a few times. I have it in my memory a lot because I have memories of E.T. At first, as a kid, I was afraid of E.T.
Yeah.
And watching as an adult now, I was like, oh, he's charming. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's especially the scene it. I love how their E.T. and Elliot are connected, like telepathically, and E.T.'s drinking beer. And Elliot feels drunk.
It's a funny scene because Elliot's he's just like dropping down under his desk. Yeah.
Oh god!
And then he lets all the frogs go.
Let the frogs go, and then E.T.'s watching the TV, and then it gives Elliot the idea to kiss the girl at just the way the TV was. That was a good scene alone. I love that how they do that back to back. And I'll admit that Mary, played by Dee Wallace, the mother, she was so oblivious to E.T. at first. Just when he's like roaming around, he gets hit in the head with the refrigerator door.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got like fun, quirky moments with E.T. because he's like a fish out of water. He's just there on Earth, just trying to experience everything, learning to talk, experiencing Gertie, Elliot, and all the kids, and trying to be quiet. He's got powers. He's just amazing.
Yeah, Dee Wallace is a great actress, but I think she's very underutilized in this movie, and it makes me sad.
yeah, but when she does something, it glows. Like,
yeah, but that's my point. It's like, I feel like she's just not used enough or in a strong enough way because it's so focused on the kids, which makes sense. That's the story that they're telling.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the kids and their relationship to E.T. But yeah, I don't know, like, because there's a lot going on with her. Her husband just left her. She's dealing with a lot, and like they could dive into stuff with that and how it affects her a bit more. But it feels almost, the movie kind of almost feels rushed at times. Because I was watching and it's like he gets sick real fast.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then everything just snowballs, boom, 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 at once that happens. And so like because like I rewatched it earlier today and I'm just like, wait a minute, why did he get sick? And it's like I'm sitting here thinking about it. I was like, well, I'm making up it because they never explain it. So like I have to make up reasons for myself. I don't know if it was ever confirmed somewhere, but it's not in the movie as to why he actually got sick. So,
yeah, I will admit that does go a little bit fast, but it just goes. It goes tragic really quick. I mean, you see E.T. just being all white and pale, and Elliot's, since they're connected, Elliot gets the same thing. Oh my God! Just the moment where, oh Jesus Christ, the moment where they're in the woods trying to phone home, and E.T.'s left behind. He's gone, disappeared, and Michael has to get up on his bike and ride and fight E.T. And E.T.'s just laying out there by the creek, just
yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, yo?
Yeah, I watched this with my 7-year-old, and she was like, "Oh no, is E.T. dead?" Because I mean, he looks dead there. He
does. He's just like a corpse on the side of the road.
Yeah, and then there was like a helicopter coming over, and so he like covers it with a sheet. And I'm sorry, but if a helicopter is coming over, and if they're looking and they see you with something under a sheet, that still looks very suspicious. No matter what's happening here, that's still very suspicious, guy. But yeah, but these two movies are like right around the same. They're pretty close to the same length. I think E.T. is just under 2 hours, and Jurassic Park is just over. It's like a 10-minute difference, but E.T. felt way more rushed. I felt like they had to cram more stuff in. Like they could have spread it out an extra 15 minutes. And I feel like it would have felt like it flowed a little bit better. Whereas to me, at least, I feel like Jurassic Park has a good pace. And it feels like there's a lot going on in that movie, almost to the point where it's like, you could almost feel like it might be too much at times. So I feel like that's a good difference between those two as well.
Yeah. I will admit that there's actually a quote in Jurassic Park that actually sums up the whole Jurassic Park franchise. Ian Malcolm says it in the boardroom. Part of the last quote is like, "You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish as fast as you could. Before you even knew you had it, you patented it, packaged it, and slapped a plastic lunchbox. And now you have it. You got it."
Yep.
And Jurassic Park is all it is right now. You see, there's the original trilogy. Can't even talk tonight, folks. My God, I am just bubbling with words. There's the original trilogy, and then you got a new set of movies coming out. Like I haven't seen Fallen Kingdom, and there's a new one coming out called Dominion. There's so many sequels. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't.
There's plenty of film franchises though that have $1.5 billion sequels.
I feel like Jurassic Park didn't need to be a expanded upon storytelling franchise. It should have been left alone at Jurassic Park alone. Lost World we didn't really need. The third one was just.
I don't know about the third movie, but there was a sequel to the book. The Lost World was a book. Like Jurassic Park and The Lost World were books from Michael Crichton, and so like it makes sense as to why, because like the first one was very successful, so it makes sense that they would want to continue, especially since there was source material for it. Even though they changed a lot from the books, that compared to what's in the movies, but to me it makes sense that they would do that because there is source material. There was continued stories, and I mean, in the 90s, trilogies were like a big thing. So like I was expecting them to do that. When they decided to do Jurassic World, I was surprised and excited because I love the franchise, and I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fans of the Jurassic World movies, but I still like them. I don't know. And I like that they're finally going where I wanted them to go with the dinosaurs being out and loose in the world. That's what I wanted to have happen at the end of at the end of Lost World. Because I mean, they bring the T-Rex to the mainland. I wanted things to happen there, but it didn't. Unfortunately,
such a cautionary tale of trying to have a park with dinosaurs, and they told it about so many times. It's like, first time, sure, we're experimenting. Let's just see how this works. Second time, oh, there's another island. Wait, there's another island. Wait, how many islands are there of dinosaurs?
Yeah, that's There's islands.
I'm just
And
like
here-
I'm just like
the-
so much. to
The
take in.
thing that I have to go back and rewatch all these movies because there's a
Sure.
line in the first movie that makes me think, okay, so how are these movies still possible? They have what's called the lysine contingency. Lysine is an enzyme that they cannot produce themselves, but they need to stay alive. And if the guys who run the park no longer provide them with this enzyme, they will die off. And they have these islands that nobody's like monitoring. How are they still alive? I got to go back through and see if they mention it. I honestly don't know. But like when I rewatched it, I was like, huh, okay, they set something up that could have been interesting, but I don't know what they did with it after that. I honestly don't remember.
I just like Jurassic Park is huge. I remember it through my youth as well, and it's just dinosaurs were a huge fucking thing. And maybe I was a kid who loved dinosaurs, but watching Jurassic Park over and over, just I felt the film has its qualities, but to me, I just grew out of it. Honestly,
I mean, I get, the thought of, you just kind of grow out of it, but to me, again, this is my opinion. That's why we're here doing this show.
exactly.
The film, outside of just, it's the novelty of dinosaurs, and we're just talking about the first film. I'm not talking about all the sequels.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
This movie stands up as great filmmaking. It's not just, here's a dinosaur movie, because there's 1,000 of those out there. You go watch sci-fi original movies, and there's 1 billion of them. You know what I mean? There's 1 billion dinosaur movies. But this one, it's like, this is the peak of dinosaur film. This is one of the top creature films out there. Not just because it's got a great story, but it also has great effects. It's got an amazing score. Everything about it is fantastic, other than the kids acting. The adults acting is on point. Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum at his peak. This is great. Jeff Goldblum in this movie. It's probably one of my favorite roles that he's in. I love him in Independence Day, but this to me tops any of that type of stuff. He's just completely gives this kind of raw performance as this egotistical, almost sex-driven guy that's, he knows exactly what he believes in, and he's willing to convince anybody of it. And he's right. He literally says at the beginning, life's going to find a way. And sure as shit it does. He is right, in all of this. The world is chaos. That's exactly what it is. And it's like you grow up wanting to be, like Alan Grant or Ellie Sattler. But most people grow up and wind up being Ian Malcolm. You know what I mean? Like the more realist kind of guy who understands that this world is not as pretty as you think it is. So.
Oh my god! I mean, yeah,
we're all a little bit Ian.
Yeah. Early on, this E.T. is. It's not. There's some big names in the cast. There's some, but it's heavily featured on the kids, and it's a kids' children's film with some crazy stuff going on. It felt like almost a independent movie because it wasn't. It is a blockbuster movie. It was the highest grossing for the longest time until your film Jurassic Park beat it out in the box office. So it took about 9 years for that to happen, which is phenomenal for Spielberg. But I love the look of E.T. The cinematography, like it's the night shots, and there's the way you see the night sky with the moon, the iconic moon shot alone with the bike is just
I'll give you that. It's a great shot. It is. But I feel like there are far more iconic shots in Jurassic Park. You know, it just maybe they didn't get themselves a studio logo out of it, but like I feel like there are far more memorable and epic looking shots in Jurassic Park. You know, the T-Rex at the end roaring as the banner falls down. The T-Rex out in the rain. That's a huge one that they show whenever they're showing clips of great films. They always tend to, if they're going to pick a Jurassic Park one, it tends to always be that one. The cup with the vibrations, you know, there's a lot of really memorable just moments that make up this amazing film. Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. It's yeah, you know.
Plus you get the epic kitchen sequence. That, like, I was talking about how, like, there are parts of this movie that are like a horror movie. That one right there terrified me as a kid. You know, especially when she's trying to get into the I don't know what the hell it was, not a cupboard, but whatever it was in the shelving area, and she's trying to close the door, and the raptor just comes running at her and crashes into it because it's seeing the reflection of her. Man, even watching it now, I'm like, you can't tell that that's a reflection from the way they shoot it. It's done expertly. It's so fantastically done. Yeah.
Practically, the effects. Both films have a lot of practical work with some CGI mixed with it.
Yeah.
However, E.T. is fully practical, where it's an animatronic head with a few short actors portraying the character. And there's one, I forgot his name, but one of them was a person that didn't have legs, so he would actually walk on his hands to portray E.T., and it felt like he was like tumbling over, and it was like really a good way to give that the good look of it. And I just thought this, especially the Halloween scene where they dressed him up as a ghost and he's looking through the peepholes, and he's like, and
he sees cool. Yoda, and I gotta say that Yoda costume, that's a damn good Yoda costume in that movie. I don't know where they got that costume from, but it was really good.
It's really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's even like other nods to Star Wars. There's even a scene where Elliot's showing E.T. all the toys, and he's pulling out all the toys.
Yeah, he mentions Greedo, Lando, and Boba Fett. Like, none of the like big main characters, just a bunch of little side characters.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like,
he's like, no Luke, no Han, no Chewie, none of that. Nah.
Nope. You
get the side characters, kid. That's all your parents can afford.
Exactly. There's a stark difference between the two. The stories have, like, one's sad and emotional, but one's like a horror film, and, you know, with some great dinosaur effects. I don't know.
More than just horror. It's a film about wonder, really, is what it is. You know, it's that idea that anything is possible. You know, whether it should be done or not is a whole different conversation. But anything is possible, and they prove that, you know, in that film. And I think Spielberg really was able to grow over the decade between these movies, and really harness his skills in these types of films by the time he got to Jurassic Park, because I think he was able to do it better, personally. So,
yeah, that's true. That's often true. That is true. That's it. I just want this E.T. for me. I watching it again, I felt Spielberg, because, like I mentioned in my opening statement, is that he made this film because it echoes of his childhood life. It goes to his divorce with his parents, and my parents are divorced, and and of course I didn't create an imaginary friend like he did, which is kind of sad to be honest. But
a lot of kids do.
Yeah, a lot of kids do, and I didn't do that myself, but I just felt like my parents are divorced. I felt that pain. I saw like, where's Dad? Oh, Dad's out doing something else. He's on separated. Oh, look at that, and their mom's doing everything else. She's a hero, and and having that big brother Michael. I don't want to play this card. I really don't want to play this card, but I have just to mention that my brother passed away a couple of years ago, and missing my big brother is a big thing. Watching Michael on screen, I was like, oh crap, Michael! I totally forgot about Michael in the film. He was like, you don't think about Michael as much because you focus on Elliot more or Gertie, but Michael, he's a
Michael is kind of a dick at the beginning, but he has good character growth because he's there for his siblings. Like he doesn't like he kind of like he jokes with them and like he doesn't really believe Elliot at first, obviously. But once he knows, like he's in all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. That was probably then you got like the other kids, which was like Tyler, who was played by C. Thomas Howell. Tyler didn't do much, but Steve, my God, Steve in the film, he was just such a dick.
That's the one with the headphones.
Yeah. Yeah,
he was such a dick.
He was such a dick, but he was the worst one out of the bunch. But at the end, all of them came together and believed in the cause, and that whole end scene, the chase scene, the escape, and then the emotional goodbye when the spaceship comes back and he's saying goodbye to everybody.
Yeah. It's a damn good movie. Like I'm not gonna say that it's bad. Like I can't sit here and be like, "Oh, E.T.'s a piece of shit," because that is not true. No. I would be lying if I said that.
No, and Jurassic Park isn't like it is a great film. I don't know. Maybe I lost Jurassic Park has a better cast. It's a bigger film. It has a lot more of a budget. My God, CGI, the revolutionary CGI.
But it's not just the CGI. The thing is, it's like it does have a lot of CGI, and you can see it as well.
Still,
you can see the CGI in both these movies. But knowing that the scene in the rain where the T-Rex busts through the roof of that Jeep. That is all practical. That is all as an animatronic dinosaur. They're in there. That glass actually broke. Like it broke off the corner. Like if that thing hadn't held, it could have messed those kids up. You know what I mean? Knowing that he went through the process of doing that. Like he could have CGI'd it if he wanted to. Yeah, it probably wouldn't. It would not have looked as good. There's no probably about it. It would not have looked as good.
Yeah, and it also was a busy year for him because he also was filming Schindler's List at the same time.
Yeah, man.
And he wasn't there for half.
Completely different movies.
Yes,
insane, man.
Yeah, he wasn't even there for most of those shootings because he was shooting Schindler's List. And I've read that he, when he gets dailies from Jurassic Park, he was so happy because Schindler's List is such a downer of a film. It's the complete opposite. So you see dinosaurs, The
fact that he's able to put out two like top tier films in the same year, man, this guy.
So, I mean that 9-year difference makes a difference between in his career. And I will admit I took the earliest one possible within his career. It's probably what is this? His like fourth or fifth film, give or take. So he's still kind of like it's after Raiders. It's just I could have chose Raiders very, very easily, but it's just like E.T. for me. Like I said, I never hear anybody mention it, and the parallels between the two with Jurassic Park just sung a little bit louder for me.
Yeah. I'm glad you picked E.T. because they do. I feel like it was a perfect match for it. It's just. Again, for me, I feel like there's just too much stuff that was done to a better degree in Jurassic Park, whether it be better CGI. And a lot of this could be because, he had a decade to perfect this stuff. The score is better, I think. I'll be honest, to me, the score in E.T. isn't all that memorable. Now, maybe it is to some people. I know you're a big music guy. But for me, I'm sitting here and and I literally just watched this movie. I couldn't hum any of the music from that movie. I can hum some Jurassic Park music though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that, like I said, the effects I think were done better. The only thing really that it's got going for it is better kid acting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're just at a draw because we can't really, because we have our opinions on our films, but we just can't there's some kind of commonality in the middle.
I think these two films are probably hard because it seems like they're both very, very tightly tied to our childhoods.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is why, folks, we left it up to you. And a little while back, we put out a Twitter poll. And I'm sorry to say, Mike, 90% picked Jurassic Park.
Of course.
Over at E.T. So I'm sorry, little E.T. Your day in the sun has come.
And in spite of what I said about it or try to say about it, I don't mind. Like I said, Jurassic Park is a damn good one, and I even have it on DVD. So
I have E.T. on Blu-ray, and what? And it's got the clamshell case.
Yeah, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad. So it's for the first battle of the decades, the 90s win. That's for damn sure.
Ding, ding, ding. There it is, folks.
Ding, ding.
There it is. The 90s Jurassic Park takes this one. But both amazing films. If you have not seen them, watch them. If you haven't seen them in a while, watch them. If you saw them yesterday, I don't care. Watch them again.
Watch them.
They're both fantastic.
We highly recommend both. Just watch them.
Absolutely.
Regardless. So, yeah, that's... It's a bit of a rough battle for the first one, but as we get into the series, we'll get our passions, our debates a little bit clearer for each of our films next time on the Battle of the Decades.
Yes. What category are we doing for our next episode, Mr. Mike? We can tease it up a little bit.
Yes, we can.
Without giving it away.
If I remember correctly, give me a sec to pull up our Google Sheets of this. The next one. Next category is action comedy. Action comedy.
Yes. So keep an eye out for a Twitter poll. We'll put something out, and then you'll be able to see what our choices are and how that will shake out. And then join us because it's going to be a good time. I'm excited.
It's going to be a good time. I'm actually really excited for action comedy for sure. It's going to be a blaster of an episode. If you enjoy what you see here for Battle of the Decades, please just give it support. We want to grow this show into what it is today. Because debating is such a powerful thing with us. So thank you for that. Yep. So Joshua, you can follow Joshua. Where can Josh follow you?
Well, you guys can follow me at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR on Twitter, as well as at Movie Blog Merc. That is the Twitter page for my site right here, Merc on the Movie Blog. You can follow me on there, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure to follow all those joins. Anchor. We've got a podcast network over there. You can get us on Apple, Spotify, all the major podcast platforms as well. So be sure to check us out. And Mike, where can they find you?
Yeah, they can always follow me at Mike Mixtape on Twitter and Instagram. And I have my own podcast stuff, which I'm trying to push out and I'm trying to send here and there. I do Prime Picks on the podcast feed here And those episodes are coming very soon. I promise you, I have one edited. I need another one to edit. I need to record another one. Anyways, don't really mind about Prime Picks. The main one I do is Into the Grid, which is my Power Rangers podcast I do with Sean. And Joshua here has been a guest on several episodes in the past, and he's going to come on in a future episode for our 4th season, which we are recording right now. So whoop, whoop.
Yes.
Into the Grid. Go Into the Grid on Twitter. Check it out, anchor.fm/Into the Grid. And if you want to check everything else that I do, just check out my Twitter bio at Mike Mixtape, which is a lot of other podcasts that I'm trying to push out. So that is me, yo.
Sounds good.
We'll see you next time when we battle the decades.